What is up, everyone? It is Tuesday night, 8 p.m., so you guys know what that means. Another edition of the Buffalo Blitz right here on the Built in Buffalo Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter network. And as always, the Built in Buffalo Podcast Network, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Odyssey, or wherever you get your podcast. Guys, the comment section is open on Facebook and on YouTube. We have a great episode coming for you guys. We're going to be breaking down some of the upcoming free agents for the Buffalo Bills on the offensive side of the ball. But before we do that, Lance Nelson, the guy that loves the Pro Bowl, that watched every single second of the Pro Bowl on Sunday. How we doing, man?
Doing well. Bills Mafia, how you doing out there? See, Mom's here, a couple of people. Matt,
How was the
Woody
Pro Bowl?
Not Funny, how's it going?
How's the Pro Bowl?
I didn't watch it. Didn't watch a lot of it. Watched watched a little of the skills competition. And just my 4-year-old was more entertaining than the Pro Bowl was, so I didn't catch too much of it.
Yeah, no one did. But as always, Lance, who are we sponsored by and where should they go to use our code?
Yeah, sign up now for Underdog Fantasy using promo code BLITZ, the best daily fantasy app out there. You can use pick'ems with Scorchers, Rivals, and straight higher or lower on their stats. So go out there, check it out, especially for the Super Bowl coming up. Get your pick'em entries in or play daily draft, daily fantasy using promo code BLITZ to sign up. Get your first deposit match up to $100.
Yeah, great website. As always, everything's in the comment section, description, all that fun stuff. Guys, obviously, it's the off season for the Buffalo Bills, so we're going to be trying to do and look, we're not even at free agency yet. We're not at the draft. We're not at the combine, right? Hopefully, you guys enjoyed last week's episode and show when we broke down some of the Senior Bowl stuff. We'll end tonight's episode. If you guys didn't watch us in the off season last year leading up into the draft, from the end of the year to the draft, we like to do simulators to end every show because it's our show, and why the hell not? And it's fun. So we'll give you guys a draft simulator at the end of tonight's show. But tonight's episode is free agents, and more importantly, offensive free agents on the Buffalo Bills. So we have a list of guys we're going to break down that were on the team this past year that are going to be free agents in about a month or so once free agency starts. Next week we'll do the defensive side of the ball. But Lance, you ready to get going, man? And as always, the comment section is open.
Yeah, let's do it.
Damien Harris. So Damien Harris, and I had the same reaction. Maybe some of you guys have kind of forgot about him, not in a bad way, but only played 6 games this year. Got injured in the Giants game. It was the Giants game, right?
Yep.
Yeah, it was the Giants game. I thought for a second it was the Broncos game. It was the Giants game. Only played 6 games, had only 23 carries, averaged 4.1 yards per carry. Right now, look, we got 3 running backs upcoming really fast. Damien Harris, Latavius Murray, and Ty Johnson. All 3 we're going to talk about, with James Cook being the only running back under contract at the moment. So the running back room might be a little bit different heading into next year. But Lance, outlook on maybe Damien Harris, the potential if he's in Buffalo next year or just anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, his contract isn't going to be super crazy. So, I mean, if they wanted him to be there, he could be, but I think they don't necessarily need to bring him back. He didn't do anything spectacular while he was here in Buffalo, other than a couple of kick returns after the DeMar Hamlin incident and stuff like that. But otherwise, I think that, before getting hurt, he wasn't necessarily lighting the world on fire. 27 years old for next season. I don't.
Yeah.
It's you can take your pick. I mean, if you think he can still be productive, then I'm not gonna be shouting no or anything like that if they bring him back. But I'm not going to clamor to say, oh, you must bring him back. I think we have other positions of need and other things we got to focus on. So Damien Harris, just in his role and what he would bring back to the Buffalo Bills, for me, isn't a priority, and it isn't something that I'm necessarily thinking about this offseason.
Well, and one thing I want to mention, Nyheim Hines will be most likely potentially in the backfield as well next year. So I forgot to mention that, depending if they keep him or not. But a lot of the signs point at the early stage of the offseason that he will be on the roster in 2024. Lance, and we'll talk about it in the next couple guys, right? Like if they do bring back, if Hines is on the roster next year, and obviously James Cook is the lead back, the one kind of missing piece of that backfield in the three guys would be kind of that ground for pound running back, that big power back, that guy that can kind of get short yardage, which James Cook is not typically known for. So when they brought in Damian Harris, I was kind of excited because I thought he could be that change of pace back to James Cook, right? And I agree with you in the 6 games, or maybe even 5.5 games, because obviously he got injured in the 6th game, that we saw of him. Well, they didn't really use him. He had 94 rushing yards in 23 attempts. Like, those are fine numbers. He wasn't really a focal point of the offense. It looked like they wanted to use Latavius Murray a little bit more over him. And that's not a huge vote of confidence, I would say, for Damian Harris if they're going to Latavius Murray over him. And obviously they went to James Cook. Like, I think you bring in a similar running back to him. It's not Damian Harris. I would be like, if we're doing on the 0% to 100%, like 100% he's 100% coming back and 0% he's not, I'm looking more like a 5%, right? Like, I feel like that's where he kind of sits at. Like, if they did, I'm not going to be one of those guys that's going to be criticizing it online.
Right.
It's just the problem is if you go into the year with Cook, Harris, and Hines, you have that injury in your back of your mind with Hines and Damian Harris, right? And I don't know if you want to do that to yourself, because then you kind of leave yourself very vulnerable at the running back position behind James Cook. So look, the easy answer, Lance, is, and I think you agree with me, Damian Harris, the injury concern, you probably just don't bring him back. But it would be a cheap deal.
It would be, yeah. I mean, either way, yeah, you're not breaking the bank for it.
No,
It's
not
one
at
of
all.
those take your pick kind of things. I think we signed a couple of guys to future reserve contracts, like a Darrington Evans.
Yep.
So,
Somebody in the
do you
comments
just,
says Khan's coming in.
um, do you just, look at him as kind of a replacement? Do only have 3 running backs if you're including Darrington on the books here. So I think we definitely want to draft one, and then we're going to talk about the other one here coming up. So
You want to talk about the other one?
yeah, rip it.
Latavius Murray. So the guy
Oh
that,
no, not that one.
oh no, we'll get to the next guy in a second, because
Yeah.
that might be even a little bit more enticing than Latavius Murray, right?
Right.
Latavius Murray played 16 games for the Bills, had 79 attempts for 300 yards this past season. Where's his yards per attempt? I lost it. Okay, whatever. My brain just melted. Where's his yards per attempt? Okay, whatever. Forget what I just said. Latavius Murray was a guy that got more carries than I think if you and I were looking at the outlook of the 2023 season beforehand, probably got more carries than I think you and I ever expected, with 79 carries for 300 yards. But Lance, we saw in critical passing downs, they went to a Latavius Murray over a James Cook because of Latavius Murray's ability to pass block, which James Cook struggled at times. Obviously, James Cook's a much more explosive player. But is this just his age, we can find a not cheaper, kind of similar running back that's way younger in the draft or free agency and just move on?
Yeah, I mean, all due respect to Latavius Murray, Syracuse native, so definitely respect the heck out of the guy, but his age at this point and the business side of stuff just doesn't really make sense. The team doesn't really need that at this stage. I think with Joe Brady's offense now coming into his own, he's going to be able to find different ways to have people block if he needs a running back to block, which I'm still not understanding quite why the running back needs to stay in the block when Joe Brady had been scheming the running backs to get open as receivers, and you can't throw the ball to the running back every play for sure. But just for me, I don't know. Latavius Murray was great for us, in the role he played, and I think that his time in Buffalo will be done.
Yeah, I think he was a good veteran, Lance, right? And I think when Damian Harris went down for the season, you kind of needed a guy to step into that role. And he was that guy, but he's past his prime. Like, he's 33. He's been in the NFL since 2014. He's had a very good year. He played 3 years with the Saints, 3 years with the Raiders, 2 years with Minnesota, a year of Baltimore, a year of Buffalo, a year of Denver. So shout out to him for having a very solid career. For running back lands, when running backs hit the age of 29, 30, they kind of fall off a cliff. And for a guy that was never an elite running back, the most year, he only went over 1,000 yards once in his career, and that was his second year in Oakland. And he had 1,066 yards on 266 carries. But look, he had a 12 touchdown year in Oakland. It might be the year that Latavius Murray retires, but I would not expect him back in Buffalo. You can draft a guy with your 10 picks that plays a similar role, or you can go get a free agent that's a little bit younger.
For sure. Yeah.
Okay, the guy that you thought I was prefacing, and the guy that maybe you and I, definitely you and I, did not see coming, that is Ty Johnson. He played 10 games with the Bills. He joined about, I guess, less than halfway through the year after being released from the New York Jets. He had 30 attempts for 132 yards, and he averaged 4.4 yards per carry. He had some very clutch moments in some of the playoff games against Pittsburgh to kind of run out the clock. He was good against Dallas. He was good against Miami. Lance, with you and I basically saying Damian Harris and Latavius Murray are not on the roster, is Ty Johnson the one guy that probably might be back next year?
Yeah, I think that he's showed a good amount of skill and a good amount of prowess in this offense. So I'm not sure why you wouldn't. I mean, I don't think he's going to command any major deal. So seems to me like a slam dunk, no brainer to bring Ty Johnson back and at least get him in camp and see where it goes from there. Like I said, you have hopefully a draft pick coming in, and you have Darrington Evans on a futures contract. Adding Ty Johnson to that room, I think, only helps you, and I think the price tag should be fine. So, to me, that seems like more of a no-brainer to say, come on back and let's see what we can do with you.
Okay, can I play devil's advocate for the sake of the show? Right? Not allowed to. You have James Cook, and you have Nyheim Hines. I know someone said in the comments section he's too expensive. He's really not that expensive, Nyheim Hines, next year, and they might want to bring him back. And what we've heard from the offseason that they expect to bring him back at the moment, obviously stuff changes. But let's say we'll go with that because we are in February and stuff can change. Nyheim's back, right? More that pass catching kind of gadget guy out of the backfield. James Cook, your one running back. Is Ty Johnson too similar to like a Nyheim Hines and too similar to, I guess, in a lesser version, obviously James Cook, where you don't want him to be the third back because you want that third back to be the Latavius Murray, Damian Harris type of running back?
Yeah, I'm not saying he's going to be brought back and guaranteed, a certain role. I think you're just bringing him back to, he's familiar with the people there, and you're going to have him come in and, work at it and work to see what he can earn. And that's what McDermott always preaches here in Buffalo is, we're having people earn it. So, bring guys in and see what they can, because of the contract, like I said, being something that shouldn't be an issue for the Bills. And the Bills obviously don't have a lot of money right now, but they'll make it all work and figure it out. They're going to need to, because they're like 50 million over the cap right now, and they're going to have to restructure things and get themselves underneath, and then have money to also do something. They got to fill out a roster. And I just think, Ty Johnson's an easy win to bring back and, see what you like. If you like him, obviously they're going to have to, I think they're going to need to do something with Hines' contract before the season as well. So we'll see how that all shakes out.
I'm looking at Nyheim Hines' contract at the moment because I don't know it off the top of my head, but the cap is fake, FYI. Nyheim Hines' dead cap would be $500 million if they cut him in 2024. Cap hit of
500 million.
500,000.
500,000.
Yeah, not five. You got it. Oh my God. Don't give me a break. Dead cap would be 500,000. Cap hits 5. Yeah, they're gonna have to restructure that if they're gonna want to keep Nyheim Hines on this roster. But I get people in the comment section saying get rid of Nyheim Hines. I'm literally going off what we heard from Bean and company in the offseason. Like the one guy that makes this decisions, I'm gonna listen to him. But you never know. Like Nyheim Hines could be obviously a cut candidate. I'm just going with who's on the roster at the moment for this conversation. So I get Nyheim Hines. They're gonna have to restructure if they want to keep him, and I 100% get that. But no, Ty Johnson's probably, if you bring in another guy via free agency, via the draft, he's probably your fourth guy, and let's see if he can earn a roster spot, or he could be a priority practice squad guy because I think he would be an amazing practice squad guy over Darrington Evans, in my opinion. I think Ty Johnson would be, and we know he can run the system. We know he succeeded in the system, and I think if he comes back and on the practice squad, he could be that guy to elevate. But look, he has some nice games on tape this year. It's not all great, but he has some nice games on tape to maybe showcase where he can be a backup in a lesser team potentially, depending on his role with the teams. But we'll see what he does with the Bills. But look, if there was one guy I'm bringing back out of the 3 running backs we just mentioned in Harris, Murray, and Johnson's that guy because I saw a little bit of explosiveness from Ty Johnson.
Scott, I just felt like he always was getting positive yards. He was good. Effort was always there, and just there's no. I think, like I said, at his cap number, I don't see any negative to bringing him in, and it's not to take away a role from someone else. It's just to push other guys. Then iron sharpens iron, and you got to get the best guys in here to try to make the best 53 you can make. So that's kind of the name of the game.
Like an Andy Isabella, like that type of player. That's where he kind of fits in. And Scott, I know I see you in the comment section, man. I know you want to get rid of Hines. I'm just saying, man, I'm going off what Brandon Beane, the general manager of the Buffalo Bills, is saying. So that's all I'm going right now. Okay, the receiver everyone wants to talk about. Everyone is breaking down. Everyone doesn't know what to do with him. Either bring him back or let him walk. Trent Sherfield. I was like, I'm doing it. Awesome. I was like, I'm doing it. I did it.
I was admittedly excited for Trent Sherfield last season when we signed him in free agency. I thought he could be a major red zone threat, similar to what Gabe Davis was doing for us. And the only way I see him coming back is if they think that he could kind of play that role on a much cheaper contract that Gabe Davis plays. And I just, for me, would rather look elsewhere. And, it was a tough season, I think, for Trent here in Buffalo. I'm not sure that he
wants to come back.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he, don't know if he wants to, where he's at with that. But obviously it was rough. It was a rough go. Didn't have a lot of success, and thought his skill set would definitely result in a little bit of a better showing, a little bit of a better statistical year, maybe, and didn't. So for me, it's tough because you do have an offensive coordinator now and Joe Brady, who's getting the interim tag taken off of him. So for these offensive guys, the difficulty is how much of a role will they have in the Joe Brady offense that he wants to bring to Buffalo, because Joe Brady was operating with mostly Ken Dorsey's playbook for most of the year, you would assume, with his own twist on it towards the end. But for the most part, they didn't go and just rip up the playbook and start anew at the as soon as Ken Dorsey was fired. So now you can definitely bet that there may be some wholesale changes into the scheme and the things that Joe Brady's interested in running. So with that comes some change in roles of personnel and things like that. So the Gabe Davis role that we're used to, or that he had the last year or two, may not be the same role in Joe Brady's offense. So, that's another reason why I think, Sherfield may not be the biggest fit here, especially after kind of a lackluster year, left a lot to be desired.
Yeah, one thing I want to mention, how about Ken Dorsey in that press conference yesterday? Interesting choice of words he used regarding a certain Cleveland Browns quarterback. I just wanted to mention up because when you mentioned Ken Dorsey, but no, look, Trent Scherf, I agree with you. When you prefaced you had expectations, and you and I in off season kind of talked about that over the summer. I had expectations for him, and I think he didn't perform well, and the Bills didn't use him well. I think it was a combination of both, right? Like he went from the year before in Miami from 30 catches for 417 yards to this year in Buffalo, 11 catches for 86 yards and 1 touchdown, right? Like that was an utter disappointment. A guy that had some key drops in that divisional round against the Kansas City Chiefs that are very important, has some key drops throughout the year. He never lived up to, I guess, our expectations. Maybe our expectations were a little bit too high, but we saw the tape in Miami. We saw a little bit of the stats in Miami, and we thought he could potentially be a guy that could flourish. This is probably a guy that walks. I think he didn't fit well in Buffalo. So like I said a minute ago, maybe he doesn't want to be back, right? Like it just didn't seem like anything ever clicked. And it does look like this receiving core is going to be a little bit reshaped. Obviously, you have Diggs. We'll talk about Gabe Davis in a minute here. You have Shakir, you have Kincaid, you have Knox. Outside of that, there's a lot of up in the airs at the moment. Matt Holman's coming in, Deontay Hardy at Buffalo Bill in 2024. I would doubt it as well. And one of the reasons that he's not on our list tonight is because he's not a free agent. But the Bills can easily get out of his contract, and there's basically no dead cap on Deontay Hardy's contract. But we can talk about Deontay Hardy in a second. 1.4 million dead cap. I bet you they get out of that contract.
Yeah, they'll do something there.
But yeah, look, I would be utterly shocked if Trent Sherfield's back in Buffalo. I think you want to go dig Shakir. You probably go get a different type of veteran. You go draft a guy that's 4 and maybe shorter's your 5th, right? Like that's that type of roster. Or Isabella's your 5th potentially, or another guy, or you bring in 2 free agents, like a Deontay Hardy type of level receiver. But I was a little disappointed with the usage of Sherfield and his play on the field, right? Like nothing ever flashed when he got the ball, which was kind of, I was disappointed, Lance, because I thought he could be a nice third option potentially. And then obviously Shakir kind of turned into more of an option, and then obviously Kincaid. So tough on the Sherfield front. You think Deontay Hardy's gone?
I don't know if he's gone, but I think they have to definitely try to restructure the deal. Again, this is the tough part about projecting because you don't know, again, what Joe Brady wants for pieces on that. And is there another piece that he'd rather have in lieu of Deontay Hardy? And if he does, then you got to make that decision. The business side of this thing, I'm not envying Brandon Beane's position this offseason. And I think someone said in the comments even that just a ton of tough things to decide over this next few months here, or really just a month or so. So if I'm going to predict, it's not that I want him or don't want him. I just don't think that Deontay Hardy will be on the team. But if he is, I think it's with a different cap than what he's currently got.
If they restructure Nyheim Hines and get him a favorable cap hit, then you probably don't need both Deontay Hardy and Nyheim Hines. Because Nyheim Hines was basically a non-threat in the passing game. He was a punt returner, a kick returner, right? Like I just laid out, you're better off going Shakir, Diggs, draft a guy, veteran free agency, and then you'd maybe shorter is your 5th, or go draft 2 guys with the 10 picks, right? Like an early day 1 or day 2 pick, and then a late day 3. Like that could be where I could see it, and then have him and Shorter battle it out. And I get it, maybe Andy Isabella, but they used Andy Isabella sporadically. I don't know how much they really value him. And then I know
you do. I mean, you need bodies though in the wide receiver room. That's the other thing is like you need to have people there, and
but you have some guys
under contract, so it depends on. Obviously, they're going to have to if they're going to want to sign any free agent wide receivers. I would imagine that they would want those guys over a Deontay Hardy. So maybe that's another thing to think about is pulling the trigger on trying to get someone else in the building to replace that. So
you also have Tyrell Shavers, who they kept for a futures contract. They brought in KJ Hamler, former second-round pick to the Denver Broncos, played at Penn State. He has that type of Deontay Hardy type of playmaking ability, right? So he might be the Deontay Hardy replacement. Like that, like on a way, way cheaper contract with no debt, like totally different contract that helps the Bills. But yeah, we're talking about Trent Scherf when we get where I don't want to start breaking down practice squad wide receivers.
Right.
Unless you want to start breaking down practice squad wide receivers that for some reason we overhype every freaking single year.
No.
Okay. Gabe Davis. Gabe Davis. This is the conversation that if you clicked on this episode, you guys should tune in for. Not the Damian Harris, no offense to anybody else, but Damian Harris, Latavius Murray, all that type of thing. Gabriel Davis. He spent 4 years in Buffalo. Former fourth-round pick. I think Gabe Davis gets he gets criticized. You and I have criticized him. Public has criticized him. Bills fans have criticized him. Do we remember this guy was a day 3 pick? Can we just remember he was a day 3 NFL draft pick? And if you told me we were getting these numbers from a day 3 draft pick, you take these every single time. We're getting these numbers out of Justin Shorter? I don't know, but I wouldn't bet on it. The problem is, after Gabe Davis's divisional round performance 2 years ago, we expected bigger things than maybe what we potentially got. But Lance, Gabe Davis in 4 years for the Bills had 2,730 yards on 163 catches for 27 touchdowns. He had his rookie year 7 touchdowns, 6 touchdowns, 7 touchdowns, and 7 touchdowns.
Yeah, from a football standpoint, I absolutely love Gabe Davis. I love him on this team. I think that he would be great to have back. For me, it's the business side of things. I don't know if that can work out. If somehow they work that out with his market value, according to Spot Track, currently calculated at $13.6 million, I don't think there's any way, regardless of how unreal the salary cap is. I don't know that there's a way to fit that in for Gabe. I would love to. I mean, if there's some way to do it and you can find a way, he's had 35, 48, 45 catches for around 600 yards, both first 2 years, 836, 740. So it's like you're getting an 800 to 1,000 yard receiver on maybe 50 catches next year. That's what I'm penciling in. If I'm getting Gabe Davis back next year, I'm saying, okay, I'm getting 50 catches near 1,000 yards. And sign me up for that from a wide receiver too, with the way he run blocks, and they're going to run the ball maybe more. You saw later into the season how Joe Brady calls a game. It's not like that's going to completely change. They're going to stick with that. They're going to run the ball. And so his role, his presence with the team, and honestly, like, he had a couple, inopportune drops, but I mean, looks like everyone seems to on this team, and that's just the way it is, and that's unfortunate. But it just the nature of the beast right now is that we've got a lot of guys that are very good at what they do here, and we're seeing inopportune drops from even the best receiver on this team at times. So I don't think you can hang your hat on he drops too many balls, that kind of thing. He's got 4 drops a year and had 7 drops in 2022. So 3 years where he's had 4 drops all season, and 7 drops in 2022. And look, they're inopportune plays. I get it. It's not ideal for a drop to happen at any point in time, but they're human beings. It's going to happen. And for me, I don't look at it the same way. I just, from a football, like I said, from a football sense, give me Gabe Davis all day long.
Yeah.
Can they make it work on the business side? That'll remain to be seen for the next month or so here.
Yeah, Lance, I think you have the perfect perspective on this, right? Like, football side, I would love Gabe Davis back. My ideal scenario would be Diggs, in no particular order, whatever. Diggs, Shakir, Gabe Davis, and you draft a guy in the second round.
Mm-hmm.
with Kincaid and Knox. Because if you bring back Gabe Davis, you don't need to draft a guy in the first round, in my opinion. You go get an Xavier Worthy type of player or Malachi Corley, somebody like that in the second round. You get those 4 receivers together, plus Kincaid, plus Knox. That's ideal. Football side of it, I want Gabe Davis back on this team, but I want them to add in the draft early, even with Gabe Davis coming back.
Sure. And if they
Business
took
side,
one in round 1 or traded
yeah,
up for one in round 1 still
yeah, oh
with
yeah,
Gabe, then that would
don't,
still be
yeah.
welcome. But
Gabe,
yeah,
Stephon
definitely.
Diggs isn't getting any younger, and
Yeah.
I like Khalil Shakir, but he's not a star. I like Khalil Shakir, but you go get another star. Like I agree with you. I'm 100% on that. They did it last year with Kincaid. They did it like they got a weapon last year. My heart says I want Gabe Davis back on this team. The football side of it, I want Gabe Davis back on this team. Realistically, and knowing how the NFL works and how the business works and how football works, Gabe Davis won't be a Buffalo Bill next year. You can kind of tell in his end of year press conference.
Yeah.
He was like, I would love to be kind of a Buffalo. I'm paraphrasing, but I would love to be kind of a Buffalo Bill, but I'm going to test free agency. Like he knows,
Mhm.
he knows if he gets his market value, if it's anywhere from 12 to 15 million per year, he won't be on this team. Like he has to be anywhere from 8 to 10 for it to probably work. And I'm not going to blame the guy for taking 14 million a year on a 4-year deal to go somewhere else. I'm not doing that. And
Right.
look, go get your
I think
money.
what you meant to say on Shakir is that he's not a number 1, but he's definitely
No.
beloved by
Look,
the Bills fans. So maybe not. Maybe he will be kind of a
look,
star
I
in the
love Khalil
making. But
Shakir, but I want to be like, I don't think any Bills fan would be happy if Diggs is the 1 and Khalil Shakir is the 2 next year. I don't think a single Bills fan would be happy, and that's nothing against Khalil Shakir. I think he's a heck of a good player, and he's turning into a really good player. But it doesn't mean like we can't go get another guy. Like I'm trying to play both sides of it. Like I like Shakir, but Lance, would you be happy if Khalil Shakir was your number 2 next year?
I guess if he, as long as we're drafting somebody this year, and
Okay.
whether that guy or not pans
But if
out.
you draft a guy in
But
the first round, that guy is your number 2. But
yeah,
it
you
doesn't
would hope.
really matter because Khalil Shakir is a slot receiver. I get it. I just like say he I don't know where I'm going. I love Khalil Shakir. I think he's really good, but like I do think we're
Yeah,
getting a little ahead of ourselves of the hype
sure.
of Khalil Shakir because we did this with Gabe Davis and people hate Gabe Davis for some reason. Now like
Yeah,
we got to be careful where we go here and know what his role is and what he can be as a slot receiver. Whatever. Gabe Davis won't be a Buffalo Bill next year, and it is tough to understand. It is tough because I liked Gabe Davis. 4th round pick. You want to keep those type of guys long term. But when your 4th round pick turns into a guy that is seeking $13 to $15 million a year, and his production's been good, but I don't know if it has been warranted that number, right?
sure.
For the Bills, especially as well. So it's realistic. It's not realistic to expect him to be back on your team next year, in my opinion.
Exactly. No, I don't think the business side is going to work out. Like I said, just from a football standpoint, I just think that Gabe worked well with this team, and everything outside of the business aspect would point to bringing him back in a heartbeat. But I just with the business aspect in this case is too great to overcome. I think so that the reality is the likelihood of him returning is not good,
Mhm.
and it's just the nature of the business. And you definitely have to go out and draft someone early and replace it there.
Yeah, I agree. And yes, I know Khalil Shakir is a slot receiver. And yes, he'll be in the slot. And then you have Diggs on the outside with hopefully a 1st or 2nd round pick and maybe a potential veteran free agent, depending on who they go. I think you need to add a free agent and a veteran guy. That's what I've been talking about all year. Anything else you want to say on Gabe Davis before we get to David Edwards?
No, I think we said everything we could. I think again, great dude. Met him, super humble and gracious. So from that side of things, like I said, I just am a fan of his. Would love to see him back in Buffalo, but I know that the business side is going to take him elsewhere, like you just mentioned. So
Mhm.
that's all we got.
Before we get to David Edwards, we'll keep in the receiving tight end department. Oh, what do we got from it? Oh, we both did the same thing. Izzy's coming in. Gabe Davis is disliked because of his catch percentage drops. Be damned. He is inconsistent. Shakir's building on consistency. I like Khalil Shakir over Gabe Davis any day. Izzy, I love you, man. You know how much I love you. What I don't like about that, and because I know you, because I can criticize you because I know you, Izzy. Khalil Shakir over Gabe Davis is not the conversation you should be having. One's an outside guy and one's a slot guy. Like that they don't correlate in whatsoever. You know what I mean? Like your argument would be pick a veteran free agent that's an outside guy versus Gabe Davis, or pick a rookie on the outside versus Gabe Davis. That's the argument you can have. I don't think you can have the Khalil Shakir Gabe Davis argument, but I get it. He's been a little bit inconsistent. Anything to touch on that, Lance?
No, I'm good. I agree with what you said. I think that I just mentioned, he does have drops. They're inopportune. Everyone has drops, and unfortunately, it's been kind of the theme here with a lot of wide receivers in Buffalo, and it's been not well timed. Well, I don't know if there's a good time for a drop ever,
No,
but
maybe
just some of these things are definitely inopportune, and they've been glorified to what more than just hey, the guy's human and isn't perfect, but yeah.
I see you. I got you, Izzy. I got you. I know. I just like coming at you, and I like you to donate more money, so I appreciate that. See, I got you to donate more money. Nah, I love you, Izzy. Izzy Red Zone Report on Sunday evenings on the Built in Buffalo Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter network. You guys don't want to miss that. Well, hey, what's up, Dan Kelly, former member of the Built in Buffalo family? How we doing, man? Scott's coming in. Gabe reunites with Dorsey in Cleveland. And why is Roy always late to these shows? Glad YouTube sent me a notification on time. Come on,
Can
Roy.
dress them up. Can't get them out here.
Roy, 8 p.m. Eastern every Tuesday night, man. You got this. Come on. Have you been here since day one on Tuesday nights with the Buffalo Blitz? Love you too, Izzy. Okay, Quentin Morris, Lance. He's in whatever ERFA means. Was that
restricted free agent?
Yeah, restricted free agent.
Exclusive rights, exactly. Restricted free agent. So yeah, 25 years old. Doesn't put up a ton of stats. Obviously, he doesn't get a lot of usage. He's got a role on this team. He made the team out of nowhere in 2022. Really was kind of a surprise, but definitely someone that is more of a special teams and kind of role player kind of guy. So I would assume his contract number is not going to be super high, and it's all about do they want to sign him or draft someone later in the draft and just keep the youth movement going. Not that he's old, so I mean, for me, I would assume with him having exclusive rights that he'll come back.
Yeah. When I texted you this afternoon, I was like, do I list Quentin Morris or not? I think he comes back, right? Matt's right. You said it as well, Lance. Like, he's cheap, he's not gonna be expensive, and he's the tight end 3. Like, I think they know, they trust him. Knox has dealt with some injuries this past year and years past as well. Like, they know their system. Knox and Kincaid are gonna get, rightfully so, most of the targets, most of the snap shares, most of the playing time, right? But I think Quentin Morris is a good tight end 3. I think he can fill in if you need it. He'll get his one to two touchdowns a year. It'll be exciting. It'll be cool. I think Quentin Morris probably comes back.
Sure.
And like you said, he's a restricted free agent. You don't have to do much, and he won't cost you that much. So I bet you Quentin Morris comes back. Okay, final free agent we want to talk about here is David Edwards, a guy that the Bills brought in from the Los Angeles Rams, interior offensive lineman, more importantly, a guard. Obviously, he was not one of the starters, as McGovern and rookie Osiris Torrance, who had a very good rookie year, the second-round pick, who, Lance, I don't know if you saw this. ESPN just did a redraft, and they had Kincaid going 21 to the Chargers, right? Mm-hmm. They had Osiris Torrance going 27 to the Buffalo Bills. So they had Kincaid going 21, Osiris Torrance hopping into the first round, and obviously you guys know the Bills got Kincaid with that pick, and they got Torrance in the second round. So good value, I think. First two rounds seemed to be very good for the Bills this past year. But I digress. David Edwards, a backup guard, a guy that, Lance, we saw at times come in big packages and when they wanted to, more of a heavy set package with running the ball and all that kind of things. What are your thoughts on David Edwards maybe being that backup guard coming back next year?
Yeah, I mean, people may say, "Oh, well, do we really need him?" I don't know. Again, with the packages that Joe Brady may want to use, and look, later in the year, he did accumulate some snaps here, and is he going to be a starter playing every game? Maybe not, but has a role. Doesn't seem like his contract's too much, but is he going to get offers from elsewhere to have a bigger role? And that's that's where I'm at with him. He's 26. He's going to be 27. Not super old. It's not out of the realm of possibility that someone else may want him to come in and try to offer him a bigger role. And if that's the case, then his number may jump with another team, and he can go and take a little bit more money, obviously. But yeah, I'm not sure. It's kind of hard to judge this one, as many of these have been. I would say, if you're asking me, do I want him back? I would say, yeah, I would like to have for what he played as a role and what he can offer. Still has a veteran presence about him just throughout his career. He has played in the Super Bowl and stuff. So I think that for me, I would say, yeah, bring him back. But again, I don't know what offers he'll have out there and what the cap number would look like for a deal to get done. So,
yeah, I would like David Edwards to be back. I think when he played, he was solid. He was your typical backup guard, wasn't flashy, didn't do starting things because he's not. The only thing you probably don't, one of the reasons he doesn't come back, if he wants to go compete for a starting job, because I kind of think he knows if he comes back to Buffalo, he's not competing for a starting job. McGovern and Torrance are locked into the guard positions, and he probably is behind Bates as well, in my opinion. So he probably knows he's not starting. So if he wants to go compete for a starting job somewhere else, I'm not going to blame the guy. If he gets similar money and wants to go compete somewhere else, I get that. That's 100% his call, and I get it for his career. But I would like to have him back. I agree. Roy's asking about the restricted free agency. What Google tells me, a player with less than 3 credentialed seasons when his contract expires, if tendered by his prior team, the player can only sign a contract with that team. So he's kind of the Bills.
Bills have first crack if they offer him a contract. He takes that and go.
Yeah. So, and then if they don't offer, then he becomes an unrestricted free agent. Hopefully that clears that up. Roy. Yeah, I think David Edwards probably would be like Lance. He's the type of guy we wake up on a Tuesday morning. Oh, the Bills have signed David Edwards to a 1 year, $2 million contract with incentives to get it up to 2.5. You and I would be like, okay, cool. Great. Not the headline of our Tuesday night show, but something to talk about. But no, I think look, everybody, if they bring him back in the comment section on social media, you're like, oh, we don't need him. Well, you do need him because you do need depth, and you do need guys that know how to play the guard position, and they used him in big packages. Like, it wasn't like they didn't use him. So he was on the field a handful of times throughout the year. And yeah, veteran present, like Lance said, he played in the Super Bowl with the Rams. So I'm not against him coming back at all. Mock draft simulator time, Lance.
I'm down for it. You ripping it, or do you want me to drive?
I can pull it up if you want.
I've got it up, so
pull it.
You want me to
just drive? Okay, guys. If you guys missed our last, obviously, as always, follow us on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter at Built in Buffalo, Podcast Network, Odyssey, Apple Podcast, and Spotify. For now until end of April when the draft happens, we are going to be doing a mock draft simulator to end every episode, no matter what we talk about tonight. And obviously, we talked about offensive free agency. Next week, Lance, I'm assuming we're doing defensively. You and I didn't really talk about that, but it seems like
sounds like a fun episode.
Okay. Okay. So we have 10 picks. We're on NFLDraftBuzz.com. Get rid of the trades.
Chuba.
I said we give everything up for Chuba.
All right.
I love Keon Coleman. Let's get cracking, Lance. Come on, man. You're
I,
wasting
well,
people's
I,
time.
I set it to 3, and I realized that's too random. You want to keep it at 2 or go with 1?
Just go
We're going
one
to turn trades off.
and
Go
do
1
warp. Get on warp.
randomness
Get on
and
warp.
warp it up.
7
And we're going to
rounds.
go.
This is what exactly is going. Did you click the Bills?
Nope.
I mean, you might want to click the Bills, man. We're not doing a full freaking mock draft here. Man, I'm ready to go, says Mr. President over there, and doesn't click the Bills. The team that we are rooting for, the team that we are covering. Did you click the Bills? Okay.
Well,
I can barely see.
there we go. Just like that. Boom. Newbin, Adana Mitchell. I'm not drafting Keon Coleman. I refuse.
I don't think you should draft Keon Coleman in the first round.
It's Adana Mitchell or it's Tyler
click receivers. Go to safeties.
Newbin.
It's Newbin.
Kinchins is there, but I think Newbin's the pick. Whew.
Now go to receivers. Ah, shit. We gambled.
Pearsall or Wilson?
Not Johnny Wilson, no.
Not Johnny Wilson. Roman Wilson.
What about Brendan Rice? You like Brendan Rice?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of liked him a little bit, but was hearing that not everyone.
Do we just screw ourselves with taking a safety? I didn't expect all those receivers to get off the board. We were talking about like Coleman was on the board, Mitchell, Worthy, Tez Walker, Xavier Legette was on the board.
Right.
There's a lot of guys.
Seems like the perfect. You got Roman Wilson, you got Ricky Pearsall, or Brendan Rice.
Roman Wilson. Dude, have you seen that guy block as a receiver? You don't think the Bills want that? The Bills want that. Give me Roman Wilson.
Bills want it. They want it all.
Okay. You need D tackles.
How big's this guy? This guy's 300 pounds, 6'1". Like that. Wayne Carter.
Just go to D tackles overall. It's easier to look at it. What about edges?
This is all D lineman.
No, that's just D tackle.
Nelson Caesar.
Go up.
He's there.
Darius Robinson is going to be like a second round pick. I hope people know that.
Darius
Get
Robinson.
Get the freaking ad out of the way, man. Darius Robinson's going to be a second round pick.
Just keep coming back.
Do you see Darius Robinson?
What you do? I saw him. Is that who you want?
He's going to be a second round pick if you want to. He's an edge, though.
Going edge?
You want edge?
This is a third round.
I say we go edge.
We can get a second round guy in the third round is what you're telling me?
Let's go edge. Give me Darius Robinson.
But you don't want a guy with the name Nelson?
No. Darius Robinson, baby. Come on.
Darius Robinson.
Dude's going to be a freaking stud. What is the comment section saying? Are they pissed at us? Coleman, Justin Calhoun, get off the Coleman thing, man. I'm sorry. Just being mean. Keon Coleman's ability to separate scares the living daylights out of me, dude. I don't know about you. Like, he scares the living daylights out of me. Where are you looking at?
Because he's not good?
Yeah. Go to D tackle.
I was looking at...
Did we miss on the D tackles?
Yep.
What pick are
we? Jefferson, but he's not until...
I say we wait
right now.
Dude, we have 162 and 165. We're waiting.
We took an edge.
Go to receivers again, man.
Double dip. What do we got? Nobody.
People like that. Oh, running back? Oh, give me a little Braylon Allen, man. Come on.
4th round, Braylon Allen. That's who you want?
You and I talked about Braylon Allen being a perfect guy for this Buffalo Bills roster. Now, one of the next 2 picks we're taking a D tackle. Because we kind of have to.
Gonna have to get Jordan Jefferson. He's my guy.
Jordan Jefferson, man. I'm with you. I say we go to receiver now. We're not taking... I need the bigger screen here. Go down a little. I don't know. He's freaking go up again.
Flournoy. You don't want Flournoy?
No, he doesn't have a freaking photo, man. Which means he's probably gonna be like Puka Nacua 2.0. So we got to find Puka Nacua here. No, we're not taking.
Melton's already gone. Dang.
Yeah, that's a problem. O-line. Any centers available? Let's go centers, Lance. Any
Glazed.
centers? Let's
You
go
wanna
him.
get Glazed.
Yeah, let's get Glazed.
6'4", 323. UDFA projection probably. Nope, 6th round, but we'll reach for him because we need it.
Because you know what? It's our draft, and every pick we make is right. I don't know how I feel about this draft at the
Could be.
moment. Also, we have
Not great.
We have too many picks. We have too many picks, dude.
Didn't go well. I'll tell you that right now.
You don't like the first three? Go to the first 3 rounds. I want to see the first 3 rounds again. Nubin, Woman. You don't like the first 3 rounds, do you?
No.
Nubin's a stud. Roman Wilson's been awesome, and Darius Robinson's gonna be a 2nd round pick. So frick off. And then Braylon Allen, and then it gets weird.
Gets a little weird. We got Jefferson, and then we got Glazed.
We got to take another receiver here, man.
Got to do it.
We got to do it because we need 2 receivers.
Jaquan Jackson. This guy's good.
How tall is he? 5'9".
Nope.
Oh, crap.
Nair. He's good.
6'3". He's 6'3". Taking him. We're taking him because he's 6'3".
And he's from Texas. Got the pedigree.
How many more picks do we have?
All about the pedigree. Like 8. We got 100 picks here.
We have too many picks.
How many picks can you have?
Go to
Omar Spites.
You like him?
I like Spates. Could be good.
Take him.
Need special teams guys at this point. We didn't even look at DB here.
If you're not
Kenny Logan.
If you're not getting the best safety in the class, it's a waste of a first. Well, we got the best safety in the class, Justin. Sorry to come at you, Justin, but we got the best safety in the class.
6'4" corner, outside zone corner, Miles Jones. Welcome to Buffalo. That 7th round pick. What are you gonna do? Oh, was that a 6th round still? Jeez, thought we were done. Way off.
I told you, where's the quarterbacks? We gotta take a quarterback, man. We preached
Rourke,
quarterback.
Curtis Rourke.
Go to quarterback.
Corner or quarter?
Quarter.
C or Q?
You know what? I think Curtis Rourke is probably the next Tom Brady, so I think we take him. Just take the worst freaking quarterback. Emory Jones. Oh my God, Emory Jones can't throw the ball. Get rid of Emory Jones.
Just looking for schools here. Yeah.
Dude, I'm losing my
Curtis
mind.
Rourke.
Yeah, Roy's saying take a flyer on a quarterback. Roy, did you take a quarterback? Dude, don't save this crap. That was a nightmare. Do we do another one or we just end it?
I don't know. We can rip another one if you'd like.
Should we just rip another one and keep it 4 rounds?
4 rounds. Warp it.
We're keeping it 4 rounds, people.
Trades
and
off.
no trades. Make sure you click Bills.
Click Bills. Click Enter.
Okay.
Click Start. Go.
Before we get there, Justin Calhoun said, I know he said you're not getting the best safety in the class. We got the best safety in the class. Lance, if I told you it was Tyler Nubin, before we get there, if I say it was Tyler Nubin, Roman Wilson, and Darius Robinson, you're not on board?
I could be. I got work to do, I guess.
Dude, I always get you on board, man. I know how to convince the heck out of you for some reason. You're gonna miss me, man.
I'm open-minded.
Receivers. We're taking a receiver in the first round here just to change it up.
We're not taking Coleman, Ladd McConkey, Adonai Mitchell, or Xavier Legette.
It's Adonai Mitchell, Xavier Legette. Adonai Mitchell. Legette scares me a bit. Keon Coleman scares the living daylights out of me. Ladd McConkey's not.
Polk's there in the 2nd round. We go back-to-back receiver.
Damn it! Polk wasn't there the last time we picked.
Devondre Sweat's there at D tackle though.
I'll take him.
Texas all the way around. We're just
I said we just take. Malachi Corley. Just take it.
Right. Give me all the receivers.
We need a safety. We got to reach on a safety.
Is there anybody from Texas there?
Is there a safety? No. Shoot.
Cole Bishop out of Utah.
What is his 40?
6'1", 209.
He's the next Harrison Smith.
4th round draft pick. Why not? We're in the 4th round.
Dude.
Perfect.
This draft is what we
Bishop.
need. Save this thing, man, and send it to Brandon Bean. Kitchens is rated number 1. Okay, Justin Nubin's. We're already in 1 and 2, man. What are we doing?
There we go. Now it's saved. Anybody can go to LNL24, on NFL Draft.
You want to text me
this
that
week.
4th round pick for tomorrow so I can tweet it?
Yeah.
Not the freaking full one. Because that drove me nuts. Okay. I think you and I are going to lose our sanity. That second draft felt so much nicer.
Yeah, when you go receiver to start, and then you get a giant man.
You got Malachi Corgan in the 3rd round, right?
Mm-hmm.
If we walked away with A.D. Mitchell, Devondre Sweat, and Malachi Corley, I think, lose my mind. You know what? John Roberts, right? We will all get surprised. They will go edge in the 1st round and piss us off.
Indeed.
You want to get out of here, man?
Yeah, let's
get out of here before we keep talking about.
Give it a wrap.
Okay. And we're just joking with you guys. We're having fun. It's the off season. The Bills aren't playing at the moment, which is very unfortunate as always. And we're just trying to keep you guys entertained. We're not going anywhere anytime soon. Next week, we'll be breaking down the defensive. This was actually a fun episode, though, tonight. I did enjoy it. But we'll talk about the defensive free agents next week. And we'll end with a mind-boggling 75-pick mock draft to end the episode because that felt like it took forever. Matt Holman's out. Let's take another tight end. Let's go Jatavian Sanders in the 1st round. Let's not get we'll trade it for Brock Bowers. But as always, Lance, who are we sponsored by and where can everyone follow us?
Check out Underdog Fantasy at underdogfantasy.com or in the App Store, Underdog Fantasy, and you sign up with promo code Blitz. You'll get your first deposit matched up to $100, and you can play pick'em games, best ball, and daily drafts. The best daily fantasy app on the market today. And John has said in the comment, we got Eric Wood to do one-on-one with me on Friday morning at 10 a.m. It'll be live at 10 a.m. Go to our YouTube page after if you can't make it live and watch the replay. As always, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow us on all social media platforms and check out. We got great podcasts coming out the rest of the week as well with Going Deep tomorrow, Buffalo Basement on Thursday, Witty Not Funny on Thursday, T is on Thursday, and then Bill's Chat on Friday, Off the Edge with Ben Shoop on Saturday, and as we mentioned, Izzy is on Sunday. So all great stuff. As we progress here through the offseason, we're going to get all of our content creators together and get it all retooled and revamped for a run at the next season. But in the meantime, we're going to keep going and bring you guys all the content leading up to the NFL draft here on the Buffalo Blitz. And that's all for me.
If you guys are not in your office on Friday morning watching the interview with Eric Wood at 10 a.m. Eastern time, then what are you guys doing with your life? Come on. You guys should be watching that. But as always, you can always rewatch it, so don't feel that bad. And as always, you can always rewatch this on Facebook, on YouTube, and on Twitter. Just hit the rewind button. And if you did miss this or you prefer the audio platform, it comes out tomorrow morning on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Odyssey, or wherever you get your podcast. Just type in the Bill and Buffalo Podcast Network. Okay, that is going to do it for tonight's episode. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. Lance and I will be back next Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern. As always, he was Lance, I was Peter, and this was the Buffalo Blitz on the Bill and Buffalo Network. And as always, go Bills.
Go Bills.